Hello everyone, welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision, the N-scale inspired HO layout. My name is Daryl Kruse, owner and builder of the layout and host for the very first operations video on the Evanston Sub. We're going to be seeing a couple of trains passing each other on the main line, and we're going to be working around some switching operations taking place at Holceim Cement. So here we have a manifest train that's heading out of the staging yard. The lead unit is a scale trains, Tier 4 GEVO, followed by an Intermountain Tier 4 GEVO, and then a progressive rail SD75M. I checked on the internet and found that the Union Pacific Railroad does use PRLX, the progressive rail engines, every once in a while, so I did pick up a couple of Athearn SD75Ms to add to my locomotives. This manifest train is very long. We're going to see the whole train go by here from time to time. You may want to count the cars to see how many there are. I'm not really sure how many there are, but it is a very long train as it pulls through Morgan. This is the eastbound train from Riverside Yard outside of Ogden heading towards Green River. First town that it goes through is Morgan, and then it will head through the Taggart Mountain tunnels, past Double Slide, and then past the Holceim Cement. And one of the interesting parts of operations here on the Evanston Sub will be mainline trains being maneuvered around switching operations that take place on the main line. There will be three main areas where some operations will be taking place. The Holceim Cement area, which we're going to be seeing today. There also will be a Trona mine at West Vackel, and then a UTLX tank repair facility just outside of Evanston. As you see, the locomotives are already through Morgan, and we're still coming up on the last car to exit the staging yard. The last car is a brown box car, which I don't think we can see just yet, but it should be too far. Yep, there it is. So the train is finally completely exiting the staging yard. And as you can see, the lead locomotives are already past Morgan and heading towards the Taggart Mountains. Train's going over the Weber River. There'll be a girder bridge here, 3-section girder bridge, and then it will enter the Taggart tunnels. And about right here, maybe a little bit further down. So enter the tunnel right about now. And then as it exits the tunnel, it will cross the Weber River once again. One of the main reasons I picked up the progressive rail locomotives is I really like the Santa Fe war bonnet paint scheme, so this gives me a chance to have it on the layout. I am blowing the horn as I come out of the tunnels and going across the Weber River. The reason I am doing that is because when we were there visiting the Evanston Sub and were taking pictures of train going through that exact area, the locomotive engineer did in fact blow the horn coming out of the tunnel and going across the bridge and past us. So I'd be interested to know, for any of you Union Pacific operators out there, actual engineers, if there's any kind of a requirement for trains to blow the horn as they exit tunnels. So I'm not sure if he was blowing it because he was exiting the tunnel or if he blew the horn because he saw us at trackside taking pictures. All right, so it went through the Taggart tunnels. This would be Devil's Slide right there. And then it's going to be coming up on the Holceim Cement facility. And as you can see, it is coming to a stop because we do have switching operations taking place at the Holceim Cement facility. So as you can see, we have all red here, and we do have the local in the siding doing some switching operations. And if you could look closely, there was also the local's train was on the main line, holding there while the local was doing the switching operations at Holceim Cement. So we had to come to a stop because the train was in our way, and we're not crossing over to go past it because there is another train, a westbound train that's coming down the Wasatch Grade, and this is coming down on the original main line, which has a 1.7% incline. So this is mainly used for downhill compared to the 1.15% grade on the modern main line. So our original manifest train is holding there waiting for this train to go by so that it can then go around the local and make its way up the Wasatch Grade. This is an auto-rack train being pulled by 3 Athearn engines. You saw the 2 at the lead that just went by. And then there's also a DPU unit that's pushing from the rear. As it was coming down the incline, you may have noticed that I have the dynamic brakes on, which means there's engines on idle, and then you can hear the fans of the dynamic brakes as it tries to slow its descent coming down the mountain. This is another opportunity to count the cars on this train. I'm trying to watch the complete train go by. The train is now heading through the Echo Canyon. The area that it just came through is Castle Rock area, which I hopefully will get painting this week. Tried to start yesterday, but when I got my airbrush out, found out that the hose was busted, so I had to order a new hose, which hopefully will come in today, and we'll get started on that. All right, so the lead locomotives are going through the Echo Canyon while the end of the train is still coming through the Castle Rock area. And we can see the DPU unit bringing up the rear of the train and pushing the cars along. This auto-rack train is one of the more interesting ones to use a DPU unit with because the train is long enough and there's enough friction and weight with the auto-rack cars that the 2 locomotives cannot pull it by themselves. So this will not go anywhere unless it has a helper at the rear of the train, or we could put 3 at the head of the train. But you actually do have the DP unit pushing the back third of the train, as we see it coming around the cars of the local there and coming past Holceim Cement. You see it has a green signal, which will knock down the red here as it goes through the control point. Now, if this were an actual op session, you would actually have the local doing work while this is all taking place, although it can't come on the main line at this point. It would have to just do whatever work it can at the Holceim Cement facility. This is an Athearn ES44AC and another Athearn SD70M. And if you haven't counted them, this is, I believe, 24 cars. So you can do the math. These are about 90 feet each. So you have 3 locomotives and 24 cars at 90 feet each. And you can calculate the length of this train. I think the manifest train is actually a little bit longer. Most of these cars are scale trains, auto racks. I think there are a few, 3 or 4, that are intermountain. These cars look beautiful. They have great detail. A couple changes I'm going to make is, actually the main change I'm going to make is I'm going to replace all the couplers. They don't operate very well and they have too much separation. As we see the DPU unit pushing the train as we go by. Now, one of the fun things about using DPU units on the train is that you can try to find the spot on the train where it goes from the cars being pulled to the cars being pushed, as the train now waits for the green signal. Before we do that, though, here's the fun part of finding the spot where it goes from pulling, there it pulling to pushing. All right, it's being pulled there, being pulled, sort of. That's being pulled, and kind of in between on that one. And here you can see it's being pushed. So right around this car here, you see the transition between, you can see it's being pushed. So it's 6 or 7 cars at the end of the train that are being pushed. It's kind of interesting as it goes up the mountain grade. It actually has more cars being pushed. So it's kind of interesting. If you run a train with DP units, you can kind of look to see if you can find the spot where it transitions. And it moves up and down the train depending on what grade you're going on. All right, we did get a flashing yellow here with the auto rack passed. We can now have our manifest train go through the control point and cross over so that we can go around the cars of the local that are seen there in the background. And as you can see, it's now taking the crossover. The local will not only swap out cars here at Holceim Cement, but then it will also do some switching to get a car set up for a regular train that's going to come through in the other direction, and also do some swapping. So there's 2 trains each op session that will stop at Holceim Cement. One train will be the local, which will swap out cars and also do some switching. And then the other train will just be a regular manifest train that will just swap out cars as it goes past the Echo community and a small crossing there. And then it's going to go through Echo Canyon along that curve as it continues to go past the cars of the local. And I was coming up on the control point that's right before Castle Rock. And if it stayed on the line that it's on right now, it would have to go up the 1.7% grade. So instead, it's going to do another crossover to get back to the left-hand track so that it can go up the less steep 1.15% grade. So we're going to do another crossover going back to the left-hand side. The Evanston Sub is left-hand running from Kerrville to Riverside. And then it's right-hand running from Kerrville to Green River because the lines do cross over at Green River. Excuse me, at Kerrville. This is the area that I'm hopefully going to be painting this week. My new airbrush hose from the compressor to the airbrush should hopefully come in this afternoon sometime. And first thing I'm going to do is paint the track. And then once the track is painted, I'll tape it with masking tape and then paint the plaster. So the snow is going to be melting here. We'll have some actual terrain on this area. All right, the manifest train is going through Kerrville. This is the spot where the lines do cross under and over each other. The modern main line, which our train is on, is going through a tunnel right after Kerrville. And as it exits the tunnel, it will continue up the grade towards Wasatch, where the two lines, the 2 tracks will get back on the same grade. Really appreciate you watching this video, our very first operations video. Been happy to bring it to you, and I'm hoping there's going to be plenty more, especially as we get the main line extended to Evanston and get the Evanston yard in place, we'll be able to have more and more operations videos. So something to look forward to. Stay tuned for an update this weekend. Thanks again for watching. Take care, everybody.